just hit something. You must have heard that. Oh no. That's the blade gone. It's right in the middle of the tree as well. Such a thin nail. You can see how the cut is nice and smooth, nice and smooth. It's that nail. Look at that. Good. Wrecked. I did sharpen another blade this morning, obviously, because my sharpener's just in there. It's a bit frustrating now. Hello and welcome to Top of the World. Today is all about sawmilling, using the Woodland Mills. I thought I'd finished. Well, no, I knew I'd finished. I'd finished everything I needed to do. I'm very reluctant to winterise everything right up until the last minute because there always seems to be this mad rush going into winter for everybody. Now, for all my new viewers that don't yet know, in an Arctic region, the winter comes and it comes hard, and then you're locked into winter for months and months, right? 5 months would be a short winter, 7 months would be a long winter, somewhere in between is average. And during this time, you are locked into winter. There's no weird thaws where there's no snow. There's snow and there's ice every day, and the snow build-up continues. It can't be stopped. So, like me a few years ago, I got offered a group of chickens right at the last minute. November, I think it was. We was already in winter. What am I going to do in November? Well, I can't do anything in November. I took those chickens and put them into my cellar, where they thrived all the way through the winter. And the next winter, and the next winter. And in the winter, they're still in the cellar. So, a man who I didn't know had come to my yard just the other day, and he said, I've been told you're the man who helped me, because I'm grateful of all business and there's very little of it. Anyway, it turns out he's been given some chickens, and he's also got some rabbits. He likes animals. And he's got a big barn, but the barn is not suitable to be able to winterise animals. And it hasn't got a floor in one particular section, so he asked me if I could provide the timber in order for him to build the floor. Yep, I can do that. Anyway, having spent some time with the man, he's learning. He doesn't really have any carpentry skills. He's kind of learning, but he does have some animals, and it's important those are inside for the winter. So today is all about building a floor. So we need beams. We need it's got a ring beam around it, the old log ring beam. Doesn't have one in the centre. I don't want to span the joists the entire width of the floor we want to do. I want to make a new support joist, and then the joists for across, and then the floorboards, which we're going to cut out of cants. So we're cutting down cants into joists, floorboards. I would like to have done the floorboards 6 to 8 inches wide. I can't do that because we don't have the size of trees, and therefore things have to be narrower in order to get the numbers. So I'm sat on a cant here right at the moment. if I do 6-inch boards, I'm going to waste a lot of material out of here. So I'm going to do 4-inch boards all the way across. And that works better. I can get more 4-inch boards with less waste out of the cant sizes that I've got than if I did 6 or 8-inch boards, which would suit everybody. But 4-inch boards I can get more out of. So whilst it's more cuts on 4-inch boards, I get to use more of the materials, and the materials are more expensive and rarer than my time, albeit it will cost a little bit more in fuel. It's pretty insignificant. So I know a lot of you, or some of you, have got the Woodland Mills sawmills and other sawmills. The running cost of this Collier gasoline engine here is so small. So small. It is so good on fuel consumption. It really is good on fuel consumption. So we can kind of offset any extra cuts by the very minimal cost of fuel, but the extra boards we're going to get out of our cants, if that makes any sense. Right, that being said, let's get to it. As I started the cut, I had a feeling about this blade, I did. Do you know, that's disappointing because that's been such a good blade. That's the next one sharpening. So it didn't break on its join. There's the join, and there's the actual snap. We haven't had a blade snap in a while. So whilst I go and get another blade, I'll just set you in there for a minute. So for those of you who got these machines, you'll see there's additions. I made up these branches and put them on a bracket. The only thing I haven't got, which I'd like, is the adjustment on this wheel, an adjustment wheel that goes in here. Because tightening and adjusting this belt by moving the engine is a pain in the backside. Anyway. So you still get the inevitable, because I'm always in softwood, build up on the inside of the wheel, which I just clean off like that in preparation for the next blade. And the rubber idler adjustment wheel is clean. I'm grinding the gussets down quite hard on that blade, because the more you use them, the more likely you're going to get a hairline crack, which is what causes them to snap. So once I've ground them enough times I've got no hardened tips left, I'll grind the gussets a bit deeper. How many sharpens can you get out of a blade? Do you know what that depends? That one that's on there now, that's into its 8th or 9th sharpen. The one that snapped was into its 7th. So there's 2 blades I've used all season to do everything I've got to do. And that one that's being sharpened now, that's the one that hit the nail. Anyway, we're going to put a new one on. So the last 2 blades, the one that's just snapped and the one that's sharpening, they were both new. So they both stretch at the same rate, they both sharpen at the same rate. The adjustments and settings stay pretty much the same, but now I'm introducing a new blade with a blade that's at its maximum life. They're going to be different. That blade's going to be more stretched and this one isn't. The width on this one is much greater than that one, and it's going to ride differently on the wheels. It can be a real nuisance swapping between a well-used blade and a new blade. So I want to cut all the flooring up with this new blade. That's going to rely on not hitting anything in the wood. We're going to get the metal detector out and now triple check, because what we don't want to do is destroy a new blade. And what I'm saying about the sharpenings, you get hairline cracks in the gussets, and the older they get, the more you cut out the gusset, the less you're going to get a snappage like that. But you know, right from the very time I started this up, I could see that blade weren't very happy. And yeah, it went, well, we're only, what are we into the wood? I don't know, 30 inches, and the blade snapped. So it's not unusual, right? And it's always unsettling when it happens, because it goes with a bang and then there's all this noise and grinding. Now what I did in the early days, right, all caused by the water tank. Should I touch on this? Yeah, I should. I don't run water at all. And the reason I don't run water is because I was having aquaplaning blades all the time. All the time. It was constant, blade after blade. I don't know whether I destroyed 10 or 15 blades. And I just couldn't get the settings right. I couldn't get the settings right on this tool. And I'm thinking to myself, hang on a minute, of all the machines I've run, and I've run a lot of, not bandsaws like this, but commercial stuff, big stuff. We've never run water. We've never run water on any of them. And I used to cut hardwood. So why am I running water on a tiny little blade like this, cutting softwood? Well, I don't know. So I turned the water off and all my problems went away. They just stopped. I had no more blades coming off. And I reckon they were aquaplaning. But in that process, what I discovered was the blade would hit the doors at this point. This here. As the blade come off, it would destroy it, but it would destroy it on this side. So on this door, here, I've actually removed the entire lip. So when the blade come off, it didn't hit that and destroy the blade, and it would just sit there if it didn't snap. You know, I had a lot of blades just flying off and sitting inside. They would always hit this, so I just cut it off. Right, crude, cut it off, and looks like I'll put a bit of paint on there, stop it from rusting. Okay, so then once we put the blade on, we'll tighten it. And all my back rollers and everything are now going to be wrong. The rollers on the back of this, well, not at the minute they're not. So we'll put this at the right torque setting, and then we'll see how the blade rides. beam. That wasn't seated properly. Normally you go through a whole procedure then of having to reset and readjust the alignment wheel. We'll see where this wants to ride by itself. And it's not on them bearings. Well, that's good. That looks like that's happy where we've got it machine set. Which I've got to say, it's just because you lot are watching. Right, let's run that and see what it runs like under running speed. Right, looks good. Check the bearings at the back of the runners. What you don't want is the blade sitting hard back on the bearings. So at the back behind these you've got your guides, fixed guides that are adjustable in there, but at the back it rides on bearings. For when you go into a bit of wood, it stops that initial impact, and you don't want the blade sitting back on those. Right, I think we're good to go. So I'm cutting these boards at 4 inch by 1 1/4, first cant. Okay, cant number 2. Cant number 3. So then we'll go to our cants in here. And we've got this one here and this one here, 2 on the top layer. So we'll take these off and take those next 2. That should give me all the boards I need for that floor. Cant number 4. Cant number 4. Okay. Cant number 6, not so good. For the floorboards, that's cant number 7. That's enough. That's what I need. Waste is that, and the proportion of that was the rot. So I've got 7 cants into that. 7, 8, 9, 10 with the beams. 10 cants. That's what I need. This for the substructure and this for the barn floor. So they're 4 inch by 1 1/4. All I've got to do now is stack it up, go deliver it. Well, I'm struggling today. Right. Anyway, Miles Sarah says I've got to go fishing. Such a drain. Ready for delivery. There we are, somebody's getting a new floor in the barn and some more animals go inside. That's all I've got for you today. If you like the content, give it a thumbs up. Really helps me out, as does making a comment, subscribing, all that good stuff. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.